welcome back this week to The Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Allie.
I'm Lauren.
We have a great show for you this week. I'm really rested. Been on vacation.
You look amazing.
Thanks.
You look amazing.
She's been on like a 2-month hiatus.
I know, right? I feel like I've taken the whole
But you
month
never
of
take
July
off.
Yeah.
You've
She
never
got lost in the mountains. No, just kidding. It's
that's
probably
so
well-deserved vacation that you've earned over the last, 6 years? What was it?
Yeah, right? Yeah. You know, and it's so funny.
Real
because-
vacation, not your little mini hoppers.
Real vacation. So it's really interesting because I had no idea what I was getting into. So we took our girls' retreat. That was great. We laid around on the beach. I knew exactly what I was signing up for on that, right?
Yeah.
Although we did have a few little challenges with dehydration and long plane ride and
we did.
Unexpected Uber detour kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then, then not being able to find our doorway back to the condo that one night.
right.
We were completely sober, and you talk about fear.
Yeah, talk about fear.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen two old ladies try to climb a fence?
Ouch!
We totally were. And my legs are a little longer than Allie's. So literally, we were trying to find the place in the fence where she could get over. Yeah. And we should have
Had it been a barbed wire fence, I could have crawled right through that with my Texas background. But
So we got there.
Scaling.
We got there to Destin, to Florida, on the beach that night, and we were all kind of tired, and it was kind of late, so we decided that we were going to take a little evening stroll down the beach. Well, Jessica and Lauren, kind of just, we're talking to some people down there, us old ladies can say that.
That's why I called you old, first of all, because you guys called yourself old.
We were tired, and we were like, we're going to bed, you all can have it. So we start crawling up the little pier thing, and we get to the gate with a code, and the code doesn't work. So that should have been our first clue.
I think it was our first clue. But we were just thinking, no, we're not in the wrong place.
It's just not working or something, or something's broken. We're
out in the wrong code, whatever.
So we climb over the fence, and then we get stuck in a different resort. So then we have to climb over like 2 or 3 other
It was
fences.
a human labyrinth.
It was a human labyrinth, and it's dark. Luckily, we had my phone, so we had a little bit of light.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed, and I really, really wish that I could have seen it or had some kind of
well, we weren't
video.
We weren't going to even tell y'all. We're not
You're
telling.
drunk. She actually
we're not telling the youngsters that we did that.
No, you should
anyway.
you should be proud of that.
Yeah,
because it's a scary thing to
and sometimes
climb
in the
those
middle of
fences
fear, and you're scared, and you're like, where am I? And I'm lost, and it's late, and am I going to get in trouble because I'm climbing fences?
Well,
so
and
you
when
have
we
to
were leaving, we followed them. We were just
going.
following, and I oftentimes, it's just like when you're driving somewhere and you're following someone and you don't pay as much attention when you're following them.
Right.
And then you leave and you're like, or you can't get back there again on your own because you didn't
have the code keeper with you.
Yeah, because we just get into that, mode of, I don't know, just like a herd.
Totally.
Not to call us a herd, but, I think that's what happened.
It was dark. I mean,
Because I have a very strong sense of direction. I really do. And for that to just be a complete, and we weren't drinking at all. I think it's just a little jet lagged, but but we got through it.
For sure.
We got through it, and we felt empowered.
We felt empowered. We're like, we did that. We made it through that. So I think that's the thing about fear is, and that's what we want to talk about on the show is, number one, don't panic, and the confidence that you build through things. And kind of on our cold open, I showed some of my little experiences in Colorado. I had no idea what I was signing up for when I went, and so I had my little hat, and I actually just walked in a little store, and I was
Which I love.
Oh, I just love. I wore it the whole time because it was raining and stuff, so it was very functional. Because you're like, I'm not a hat person, but
I love the little scarf action, the little
Oh, it was so dusty.
Oh
my gosh!
I wondered if it was
literally
cold
when
or
I
what.
washed my hair in the shower, afterward. I mean, it was it looked like black. Like it was just washing black down the drain.
Channeling a whole new side of Tammy. I was like,
So we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk some specific things about fear and some things that might be holding you back in your life and making changes. We're kind of coming up on that 6-month mark in the year, and I'm all motivated, especially coming back from vacation.
7 months. We're coming up on the 8th month.
8th month, we're like halfway through the year. So, getting ready to think about what the rest of this year looks like and how you can make some goals and some plans and
conquer your fears.
Conquer your fears. School's going to be starting, so getting some routine down. That's one of the things I realized is getting some routine down is really important. Taking action can really help you overcome some of that anxiety about, other fears about maybe not getting things done and things like that. So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back with Naked Doctor Show.
I have osteoarthritis, and the arthritis medication that you get regularly will cause your kidney function to go down, and my kidney function had started going down, And so I knew I needed to do something different. I've been seeing Dr. Tammy for about 3 months, and she's been doing stem cells in my knees. And it's like a miracle. She absolutely hits it every time in the correct spot, and I am pain-free now, and I haven't been pain-free for about 10 years. I can go upstairs without pain. It's wonderful. And I send everybody I know to her because she's done such a wonderful job for me, and I just appreciate it so much.
Hi, welcome back to Naked Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Allie.
I'm Lauren.
We have a great show. We're talking about fear. And I think one of the biggest challenges we have a lot of times in our life about fear is it's sort of that unknown thing. And one of the things that I realized when I was up there on the mountain was, I'm like, I don't have any control over this situation. I'm sitting in a four-wheeler. We're literally mountain climbing, 13,000 feet, complete drop off. And I'm realizing
Air quality is different.
Yeah, you can't breathe.
Right.
Everything's just heightened. And I'm realizing I'm a passenger and I have absolutely no control. But one of the things I also realized is really the only thing you ever can control in your life is how you perceive something or how you feel about something.
How you handle it.
How you handle it. And so one of the things that you can do is, little tricks like counting backwards and focusing on what it is that you want to achieve. So like for me in that moment, I just started counting backwards, a little brain trick to kind of distract my brain a little bit. You can start from 10, you can start from 100 if you want to. And then I just really focused on, and actually at one point I actually pulled out my phone and just started recording because I'm like, I'm going to make this, memorable. Like if I'm going to be up here at 13,000 feet.
I'm leaving documentation.
I'm leaving documentation, absolutely.
If I'm going to fall, it's going to be on Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's going to be like the whole world's going to see
And
this.
that's how the Naked Doctor went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you are, being in those situations, because it's very easy to consume yourself with like the worst of what could happen, but it is a lot of realizing like when you don't have control of things, being like, all right, cool, I don't have any control of this, but yeah, what I do have control over is my thoughts, and I can, sometimes I'll be like, yep, I'm good, everything's cool, having a great time, this is what we're doing right now, or, it's like really thinking about all the good things in that moment or whatever, like specifically to that, because heights, I was watching Mission Impossible yesterday.
I did too, I went to last night.
Did you? Yeah, and Hayden and I were like, nope, too high, nope.
Too high.
We were like, we don't do heights like that. Because it's like, oh my gosh, that feeling just from seeing the heights.
I know, I was realizing just
I don't
watching
have
the
that
movie
for heights.
that I was starting to get that anxiety, that fear of heights. And
For me, it's the closed spaces. For me, that's where my big fear is.
it was almost the opposite to me. I like closed spaces, the big open spaces. It was almost
I
like reverse
read
claustrophobia.
that.
It was really interesting. And everybody's got kind of their little triggers, and I think those are really learned triggers. We want to think they're like in our DNA, like we have no control over them. But really, fear and excitement are the same chemical adrenaline process from our adrenal glands. I got to get a little hormonal here. But you can tell yourself this is excitement or this is fear. And that's exactly what I did up there on those mountains. I said, okay, yeah, I'm scared, but I started looking around. I started kind of asking myself questions. Am I really going to die? Is this really safe? Are the people that are doing this, do they know what they're doing? What are the actual death rates of people up here on
Kind
these
of some of
mountains?
those things you should have thought before you
Exactly, but I didn't know, right? So I'm kind of taking action in my head, and I'm asking questions, and really
to help let that go.
Yeah, exactly, and that kind of equates to a little plug for what we do in our day job for wellness coaching and for health coaching and people getting their lives back and the people who are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired and want to get their hormones back under control. But we also tell them you got to clean up your eating a little bit. You gotta move. You gotta have some functional movement that works for you.
Blast through those blocks.
You do. And so one of those things is educate and empower, because a lot of those fears just come from the unknown.
Right.
And the unknown comes a lot of times from, well, what is this process going to be? And fear of loss. What am I going to give up?
Or I can't do that. I'm not
do that.
capable of that.
Yeah.
You don't know.
So you find people that can. And
Yeah.
if I had to drive up that mountain by myself in a four-wheeler, I never would have made it. But I'm with people who know what they're doing, who've done this every year for the past 20 years. And so you work with somebody, why reinvent the wheel?
Right. It's easy to make excuses to not do something, when you don't it's like, oh, I can't do that or whatever. But it's like when you know that you have people, like you said, like in that situation, clearly, like you would have every excuse in the world not to go do that by yourself, but you let go of that and you're like, all right, let me give myself an excuse to go do it.
Because in a situation like
you
that,
trusted them to lead you in the right direction.
You don't want to be in control because you have no
I didn't have the
frame of reference.
I had
you
no
have
frame of
experience.
reference.
Yeah.
I
So
was not
in
the
that
person to be in
piece,
charge.
I think that sometimes our biggest fear is not that we're inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure. And I think there's that fear of success that people have.
Yeah.
There's that I'm not, I'm not good enough, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know what I've actually had in business? I've had people say to me, I don't want to do that because what if I get so busy that I can't handle all the volume? I'm like, stop. Just that. I mean, those fears, those are just not even rational fears. I mean, you don't even have 3 customers.
I don't even.
Why are you worried
I feel
about
like that's.
not
I don't
being able
know.
to handle it?
I think that's
those excuses. Is
exactly.
what
I was like, that's not a fear.
That's an excuse.
Right.
There was an ad campaign, commercial. I forget the company, but the premise was they had this one business. It was called Ruth's Rug, and she had one rug. And people would come in and want to buy the rug. She'd be like, no, we can't sell the rug. We'd be out of business. I remember in retail, I had girls tell me, I couldn't sell that last eyeliner because we wouldn't have any left. And I'm like, but the point of it is to move off the rug, Ruth's rug. Which is the whole idea of that is hysterical, but it kind of speaks to the point that you're making about.
Well, I'm sometimes like that with my paintings because I'm like, because you guys talk about doing a show or selling, or doing a charity event or something like that. I'm like, well, I couldn't let that go, right? It's like,
oh no,
and
not
I'm
that
bursting
one.
in my art studio right now with so many paintings that I can't even look at them all.
That's a little different though, because there's a personal connection that it's your creation.
Yeah,
I felt the same way about mine. I'm like,
it's your baby.
It's like, oh, I know what mom wants for her birthday. I'm like, oh, it's too bad for mom. She's not getting it. Nope, going up on my wall. I'll make a copy for you. You're special, mom, but not that special.
It's your creation. It's your And there's a fear of what? Tell me what?
Loss. That's a loss fear,
absolutely.
totally.
Which is, when we talk about what's rational and what's not rational, fear is real. I mean, come on. When I'm up on that mountain, my heart was racing. I was scared to death.
And you can work that adrenaline to your advantage. But you can,
exactly. And that's what I did. And I said, you know what? To not be that girl who's crying and whimpering and staying on the ground. I didn't want to be that girl.
Yeah.
So I thought, to me, my anchoring thought was, I want to be the girl who everyone knew was scared, but I did it anyway. And that's really how you have to do things in your life. Is just conquer your fear. Sounds a little bit
cliche.
Yeah. But really, we're all moving and we're all changing and growing. And whether you're on board with that or not, you're still moving and changing. That whole thing to not make a decision, still making a decision, right? Yeah. So to me, it's just get educated, get empowered, align with someone who knows what they're doing,
and have a fear strategy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's 2 sides of fear though, because there's on the mountain, you have this fear of what actually could happen, and then there's the fear of when you don't do that. The fear of the unknown. So there's 2 sides of fear, right?
Yes.
So it's whenever, just know that whichever side of fear within, because the fear of the unknown is the first thing you're going to face, because, and once you get past that, there's still going to be other fears of whatever, maybe if it's a health issue or whatever the case, but knowing that throughout this whole process, each fear point or each obstacle that you could put in your way, we're going to help you take it out. We're going to help you just keep moving.
One of my strategies, fear strategies, is to imagine the absolute worst case scenario.
Yes, that's a great strategy.
And then I think, okay, if I can handle that, it's probably not going to be that, but if I can handle that, and in my mind I go, okay, I wouldn't love it, it wouldn't be great.
I'm not expecting it,
but okay, what would I do? And so that helps me form an idea for what would happen in the worst case scenario.
And even the extreme, ridiculous
stuff.
Oh yeah,
I
end up homeless. I end up, nobody likes me. I'm eating worms.
And then I work my way back.
I actually up on the mountain was thinking, because I started asking a bunch of questions, because that's what I do, and I start and sometimes it goes a little the other way and it gets a little too extreme, but I'm thinking, okay, So I'm like looking at the ratings on this roll bar cage in this four-wheeler, and I'm thinking, how strong is this? And there's 4 people in this, and I'm like doing the physics and the math about if this thing actually started rolling down the hill.
Would I climb over to?
Would I, just kind of drop and roll? And how far could we roll?
Oxygen mask drop down.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, how far could we roll before I would be like, passed out from complete?
Yeah, I think that's great though, because you're preparing yourself for
the worst.
Right, like whatever that fear is. Yeah, absolutely.
And
that's all about you and trusting yourself in that situation. You would make. All right, I'm gonna think of whatever decision I would make now, so that I don't have to fear that anymore. Now I'm gonna know what's on if that happens.
Stay with the excitement, and then I just started having fun after that. Yay. Then I went home that night and had to sleep on it, and then go back and do it again. And that next day, I was like, "Am I going to do this again the next day?" Because it really crossed my mind just to stay home and ride, or sit by the river or something like that. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to get right back in there and do it again. And I did the second day. So that really is another part of your fear, is just kind of, it's like getting back on the saddle.
And that's why I really love our 6-month program or the year program, because, the 3-month program is just so hard to really get those.
That momentum.
It's like toes in the water.
You fail and get back on, and fail and get, because everybody
I see greater
does that.
success in our 6-month and 12-month patients who commit to a little bit longer, and they have a greater chance to, create these new protocols.
Because you learn from all those little missteps.
Just jump in. You know what I mean? We're not jump in and know that you have what it takes to swim. And if for some reason you don't, we'll help you. You're not going to drown. We'll help you swim.
Yeah,
I love that. I recently ran across an old Rumi quote, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's to imagine that the world is rigged in your favor.
Oh yeah,
may the odds forever be in your favor.
What is it that there's a reverse
instead we always are thinking
I feel like that's how you manifest things.
It is.
Dr. Phil says what you fear you create.
Oh yeah, you attract everything.
And so
it's like Pinterest, you populate more of that, whatever that is.
And if you don't know what you want, and you don't know why, Tony Robbins calls it the why. If you don't know that, then how can you manifest that if you don't know what it is that you want?
Well, and that's good with the anchoring thought with fear is, what's your why? Why are you doing this? If it's your fear of flying, but you're getting on a plane anyway, it's because you want to get to that destination. You want to get to the beach. You want to go see those grandkids.
And you don't want to drive for 25 hours.
Focus on the dying and the air, the height. You're focused on that. So it really is a reframe and excitement, because fear and excitement are the same chemical reaction in your body. So it really is just having a few little tricks up your sleeve to convert that.
I love that you brought this up for topic today.
Yay, it's a fun topic.
It is.
All right, I guess we're probably up for time, so we're going to do a quick little Blackboard segment, and we're going to wrap up. And we have lots of exciting things we do at our office that we want to help you with. So help us help you with your fears.
Help me help you.
And we'll be right back with the Naked Doctor Show. Back, we're doing the chalkboard segment, and we're talking today about fear. And fear is actually very protective for human organisms. So why do we have fear? Well, we were just talking in the break, I was talking to Allie, and she was like, isn't there only like one fear that we're born with? And yes, that's very true. We are born with one fear, and that's the startle reflex. We call that the Moro reflex. We check that in babies in the newborn nursery to make sure that they're healthy. And that is literally just the fear of falling. So that's why babies like to be coddled and they like to be wrapped up like a burrito, because that fear that they're going to fall is very real. And it's that fear that kind of pervades through when we sleep. It keeps us from falling off the bed. It keeps us very locational. And so it's very primitive brain. It's in the brainstem where that fear comes from. But fear of falling is the only fear we have. So every other fear is literally learned. When I was in Colorado, the family I was with, there was a 7-year-old who was absolutely fearless, but his mom and dad and grandpa, everybody was absolutely fearless. We're mountain climbing in these 4-wheelers, and so he had no learned response to that was dangerous, and nobody was acting scared except for me. And so he just felt really confident, and the people that he loved and trusted had all the confidence in the world. So that fear was basically excitement for him. And so in any given moment, fear could be perceived perceived as excitement. So that's one of the tricks that we like to teach, is that if you just slow down and breathe, do some 5, 7, 8 breathing or counting backwards, and just recognize that your fear and excitement are the same thing. If we were to draw out a person, of course I got to go to a little hormones here, and we got the hormonal system, the pituitary gland in the head and the thyroid, and I always talk about all these different hormones, but we have these adrenal glands that sit on top of the kidneys, and these adrenal glands have 3 different layers. One of them makes all of your sex steroid hormones, your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all those things that kind of drive your life forces, if you will, and metabolism. And then one area regulates your sodium and potassium, so that regulates your blood pressure. And then this area regulates adrenaline and epinephrine. So what does that mean? Well, that means that these chemical processes that happen in the body are just that. They're just chemical processes. And so fear for you, if you perceive it in the brain, in your cognitive part of your brain, and you're producing adrenaline, because let's face it, if you're standing up there on a cliff at 13,000 feet, you're going to have some physiological response, most likely, if you're, normal. And so anyway, the difference is, in that 7-year-old, he was excited. In me, it was like, oh my gosh, am I going to fall off the cliff? So I have to do all this mental processing to make myself feel safe, right? So all of that is just learned, basically. And one of the things that I love to teach people is that thoughts become emotions. I'm writing kind of fast here, so it's kind of screwy. And that becomes hormonal chemical changes. Hormonal chemical changes. And so the arrows go multiple ways. And so what can happen a lot of times is that if you start thinking fearful thoughts all the time, that can drive these hormone changes. One of the things that we talk about a lot is cortisol, because this area of the adrenal glands also make cortisol. So cortisol depletion can make you feel tired, can make you feel achy. Too much cortisol can actually make you gain weight. We call that belly fat. And it's all protective mechanisms that happen in the body, but an understanding of how all this works can help you with weight loss, with having a more fulfilled life, with actually being able to acknowledge your fears, to have some processes to work through this stuff, and to keep your hormones in balance, because at the end of the day, all of that works in concert together. So that's what we kind of do. We say in my day job, we help people identify those hormone imbalances, because sometimes it's some of those imbalances that make it really hard for you to control those thoughts. If I weren't really healthy and had my hormones balanced, standing up there on that mountain cliff, I might not have been able to regulate my thoughts as effectively as I did. So that's a really important process in this. So just kind of understanding how all that fits together. So I hope you learned something new in this new little chalkboard segment, and we'll be right back with the Naked Doctor Show in just a minute. So we've had a great show today. Thank you for being with us. We've talked about fear.
And strategies.
Conquer your fears, as Dr. Tammy would say.
Yes. I always say stress and, long-term weight gain and things like that from fear and stress, those are all just habits. Those are all learned habits. Worrying is just a habit.
Put in a new filter.
Put in a new filter. Have someone help you to kind of reframe those things. Mm-hmm. It really is, alliance is the biggest strategy, I think, that educate yourself, empower yourself, learn. The more you know, the less you're afraid.
And it's also, I just thought of this, another side of fear, because a lot of people who don't execute on these things like that, what they want to happen, is because they're actually living in fear, and that's the fear, the FOMO, the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And because they don't want to miss out on
talk about that a lot.
Sweet food, or whatever that the good things that those little highs that they're getting there,
yes, or whatever.
Yeah, but it's man, the other side of that is the result of those changes are a beauty and a love for yourself, and the best high you could ever feel.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I always say you have to want that more than you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But how do you know? It's that's what it's like. How do you know? It's like when you've never had this, you have to, and you've had this, and you're like, oh well, sometimes it's easier to pick this one, but this one is better.
I think it's really important that you get clear on what it is you want, what
and
your core values are, and why. and have good boundaries, because there are things that you shouldn't do, that you're afraid of, that you shouldn't do, and you should just say, no thank you. And that should be okay. You know, it's kind of like peer pressure with our kids and stuff. It should be okay to say, you know, fear of missing out, well, I don't want to try cocaine, you know, right? So
come on, man.
I like to call that fitting out.
Fitting out.
Fitting out instead of
absolutely.
fitting in.
So there are some things, you know, and sometimes people are like, here, try this cheesecake or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm good. I just brushed my teeth, or I'm full, or, you know, and they're like, and, you know, there's this part of you that's the FOMO, like the fear of missing out. And you're like, well, maybe I should try that. And everybody's going to be talking about how great that cheesecake is, or the pressure to fit in. And so when you're really clear about who you are, where you're going, what your boundaries are, then you don't let that stuff impact you. So again, you know, sometimes working with a coach and kind of sounding that stuff off, I do that with you guys all the time, you know. And it's like they say Brad Pitt is like one of the best actors in the world, but he still has acting coaches. He still goes to acting classes. I think it's really important.
Professional tennis players have coaches, have somebody that they still...
Even at the top of your game, it's still important to have people that you can work with. And so we'd love to work with you if you need that little bit of extra edge and that little push and accountability and that kind of thing. So
thanks for bringing this to us today.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a dinner talk coming up August 16th.
August 16th, Thursday at 6:30.
Call us at our office. We have a 1-800 number that's on the website, and she'll post it on our little slug. And come learn what we do and how we help people. It's amazing. You know, one of the things I realized was one of the ways that I was able to have so much stamina these last 2 weeks to do all the things I wanted to do on vacation was because I don't hurt. And I was just telling my friend the other day, I was like,
you feel good.
So much of my life was based around pain and fibromyalgia and headaches and stomach aches, and to be able to eat what I want and do what I want and to have a strategy and a plan. And when we were on vacation in Florida, we ate really healthy, and Allie shopped for us, and it was just amazing. And so really we use this excuse to be bad during vacation, and then to feel bad, and then to have limited experiences. If you feel good and you eat right during vacation,
I think it enhanced our
absolutely
enjoyment.
It helped my energy
because you didn't feel like
ugh. Yeah, absolutely. So check us out on our Facebook page, The Naked Doctor, Instagram for you young whippersnappers.
Young whippersnapper, that's my nickname around here these days.
I thought I was part of your
I don't know.
Allie kind of, she goes both ways.
Situational. HealingArtCenters.com. Check us out.
Yeah. And follow us on The Naked Doctor Show.
And if you have questions, hashtag The Naked Doctor Show on Instagram, or you can message us and we will answer your questions on the shows. So,
let us hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, we never really have kind of stuff like that, but we can and will. All right, we love y'all. We'll see you back here next week on The Naked Doctor Show.
Thanks for watching.